Hi, we're Lynn and Owen of Van Trekking Lifestyle.
And we're all about traveling around in our little van seeking out adventure. If that's something that excites you like it does us, think about subscribing. So if you watched our video last week, then you already know. We bought a Revel and we put our Travato up for sale.
What were we thinking?
Like the line from my favorite movie, well, one of my favorite movies, don't accuse me of thinking.
Don't go accusing me of thinking. I haven't done anything of the sort.
In today's video, we'll share with you what we were thinking.
Yeah, and we'll take you along with us as we buy our Revel. It was a really good purchase, wasn't it?
It was a really good experience, yeah. And we'll also let you ride with us on our shakedown trip.
And we'll also share with you whether we think it was a good decision or a bad decision to switch from our Travato to a Revel. And stick around to the end and we'll give you our first comparison of traveling in the Revel versus traveling in the Travato. So in fact, we actually do quite a bit of thinking about traveling and planning.
And what we want to do with our time.
And what we want to accomplish.
So about every 2 years, we sit down and we try to make a plan for the next 2 years.
And 2.5 years ago, we did that. And at the time, we were spending 5 to 6 months per year parked in Florida in an RV park, enjoying it. And we loved it. But we just felt like we wanted to travel more, and we wanted to see more, and we wanted to accomplish more.
And that led to us downsizing to the Travato van.
And it was everything we thought it was going to be. Yeah. We traveled all over North America in that little van, and we have seen more and done more. And that 2-year plan, we nailed it. We just absolutely nailed it. So when it came time for us to sit down and plan the next 2 years, we quickly came to the conclusion that we're not finished with exploring and chasing adventure.
We actually want to do more. We want to do more adventures. We want to get off-road more. We want to see more.
We want to go to places we cannot, well, probably will not go in the Travato. So the Revel fit everything. So after all, a bunch of talking and thinking and trying to figure things out, all we had to do was look at our channel name, Van Trekking Lifestyle. We're living in a van, and we still are. We're chasing adventures. And it truly is, it's our lifestyle.
It is our lifestyle, and we love it.
So the seed for downsizing was sown, and it seemed like all dirt roads were going to lead to a brand new Revel for us.
So we decided on a Revel, and Owen has worked hard trying to find us one.
But it's not easy, especially during these COVID times. It's one of the hottest commodities to actually try to find and buy. And I bet we found 3, and all 3 of them were sold out from underneath us before we could get there. And we were about to give up. In fact, at the end of our Shenandoah trip, we were supposed to continue on to Maryland to pick up a Revel. But the owner of the business decided they wanted to keep it as a show van in their showroom. And so they refused to sell it to us. And I got to tell you, I was a little bummed out whenever I found that out. It was not something I was expecting. I thought we finally had found one. I was pretty bummed for a couple of days.
Owen was truly bummed about the Revel that was in Maryland, but I really think things happen for a reason. So a couple of days after we got home, he had actually found another one that was even closer to our house.
So Lynn's right. She woke up one morning and I was looking at pictures of a Revel in Greenville, South Carolina, actually Greer, South Carolina, in Adventure Motorhomes. I called them, they still had one available. It was a silver one, but we were going to go ahead and do that. But while I was on the phone giving Kelly the money for the deposit, the deal on the tan one that they had, which is the one that we have now, fell through. And she said, if you want it, it's yours. And I guess like Lynn said, it was meant to be. Things happen for a reason. Here, we'll show you that buying experience. Come along with us as we go buy our van. We're in here doing our pre-delivery inspection. This young man is Todd. How you doing, brother? He's been here at this dealer for 2 years now?
2 years, 2 years.
19 years old, and he's the one that showed us how to use our van. That's pretty cool. And you love camping too, right?
I love it. I love
it.
You bounce down the road if you're going to get gallons, so that's what, and I guess your average.
There she is. excited, so excited. We had a great buying experience with Bob Ledford's Adventure Motorhomes. Probably the best experience that we've ever had buying an RV.
And we highly recommend them.
We do highly recommend them.
It only took a little bit of time. As you can see, we spent the night there the night before, got up, did our test drive, and then the only thing left to do, move everything out of the Travato into the Revel and head towards, well, Myrtle Beach for a shakedown trip. And we'll take you along for just a little bit of that adventure, but then later we'll come back here and we'll share with you the things we learned about what we love about the Travato steel and what we love about the Revel.
We're excited!
It's so excited. We just emptied everything out of the Travato and we moved it over. Here, let me show you our new van. We moved it over to the 2021 Revel, and we have everything set up for a 3 or 4 day trip, which is what we're heading out for now. Now we're going to move the Travato back over here to park it and leave it here behind their locked gates while we go on this trip. And then when we come back, we'll loop back through and pick it up, take it home, clean it up, and get it ready to sell. Mwah! You look happy. Maggie looks the same. And I look a little different because I'm in the passenger seat. We're now about 2 hours away from our destination, stopping at some groceries and get checked in, and then we got to figure out how to pack all this 10 pounds worth of crap in a 5-pound bag. It's going to be an effort in minimizing and putting things all over the place. So Lynn took over and she's driving for a while. And if you've watched us for any amount of time at all, you know that we work diligently on the Travato to get rid of all the rattles. Well, this thing's got enough, it's got rattles like rattles are on sale at Walmart. We're going to have to figure this out. I know there's several things that people say we need to do with some of the cabinet doors and other things, but just listen. We'll have to find that, because I can't hear that well, and I can hear it, so it's going to drive Lynn crazy. But it's good that we're both driving. It's comfortable to sit here, and I think she's pretty comfortable over there, aren't you? Back to driving. If you didn't know, a shakedown trip is when you buy something like that, you always want to take it out for 2 or 3 nights right after you buy it. Make sure everything's working properly. If not, arrange with your dealer so that you can go back in and get that addressed immediately without having to get in line for service. For us, nothing was wrong. It was a perfect, sweet little Revel.
So everything was not exactly perfect about the van. As we were driving, we noticed that the tires that came on the van, if you got up to 45 and 70, it would shake. So it wasn't perfect.
So driving back to Greer, South Carolina, I called the manager, who happened to be our salesperson too, and told her that apparently the tires were bad, something was wrong. She said, pick some place you know, stop and get them balanced and get the van aligned, and then send me the bill and I'll reimburse you for it.
That was a wow moment for us. We have never heard a RV dealer say that.
Turn 6, that tire's no good, absolutely no good. Yeah.
Is that the biggest? Is that the biggest number you've ever seen? No. And the bigger the number, the worse the tire is.
It shouldn't be no more like 20.
Right.
So what causes that? It's a brand new tire.
It's just a bad tire.
But it got better than that. As you can see, when I took the tires in to get them balanced, the manager of the shop that we used said that all 4 of the KO2s were bad, meaning that no matter how hard they tried, those tires could not be balanced. They were bad from the factory, and they probably never should have made it onto a Winnebago Revel. And I thought, ah, crap, we're screwed. So I called her back again, said, Kelly, we have an issue. Lynn and I were sitting there, and I said, all 4 tires are bad, they can't be balanced. You know what she said? Go find 4 tires that you want, make sure they're perfect, put them on the van, and send me the bill, and I'll reimburse you for it.
Now that was really a wow moment.
Why don't you tell everybody where we are?
We're at Bass Lake in Blowing Rock, one of our favorite little walks around the area.
Yeah, and we sold the Travato to a young couple who's from Johnson City, Tennessee. This is about halfway. They were so nice, and we've talked to them so much. We decided we'd meet them here. All right, so which one of you is driving it home? Cool. Thanks for buying the van. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Believe it or not, this is a really sad day. Over my shoulder, we just sold the van. The nicest couple. Well, just like that, we're back to being a one RV family. So that's a happy and sad day.
Really sad. I didn't think I would be that sad.
It is. It is so sad. But it looks like the van is going to a really nice young couple with a family. They already have their first trip to go to Palm Beach in Florida with it. So they're
Thanksgiving to see his mom. So that's awesome. It is going to a good family, and it's their first RV.
Yeah.
And I think they're both excited about it, and we're excited.
We are too. Yeah, that is really, really awesome. Will and Lee, thank you so much for buying the van. It really does mean a lot to us that it's going to somebody that's going to love it as much as we have.
Ta-da!
Tough friggin' duck. After our shakedown trip, we learned that the Travato actually beats the Revel so far at a few things, and we want to share those with you right now.
The first thing is the bathroom is a lot bigger in the Travato.
The Travato has less rattles and noises and road noise.
But we had to work on that also. The Travato also has a lot more cabinet storage.
The Travato costs a lot less money.
And talking about money, gas prices are a lot cheaper than diesel.
And you don't have the expense with the Travato of DEF, and you don't have the expense of really expensive oil changes.
The beds in the Travato are a lot easier to make up.
The quick connect on the Travato, so that we can connect up a griddle or anything else to the back of it, it's really a cool little feature that we're going to miss.
And most of all, we were very comfortable in the Travato.
We actually loved it. We went more places in that little Travato than any other time in our life, and truly we miss it right now. But when you consider that, there are many things about the Revel that are better than the Travato.
And of course, the biggest one of those is that the Revel is four-wheel drive. It's our main reason for buying it.
It also has diesel. We mentioned that's a negative, but it's also a positive because a diesel engine is known to last much longer than a gas engine. I'll take the next few too because they're mainly just guy things.
Yeah.
You don't have to change the oil as often. It costs more money when you do, but you don't have to spend time going in to get service. For example, our first oil change isn't due until the 20,000 mile range. Also, the little ports that you fill with DEF and diesel are locked away, so no one can mess with that, and that's pretty important.
It also climbs mountains a lot better.
Yeah, I had to slow down yesterday not to leave her completely. It doesn't care about 7 or 8 degree mountain climbs at all. It seems to be perfect with that.
Yeah.
Another plus for the Revel, it has a stainless steel exhaust pipe. And unless you have a rusty one on your Travato like us, it may not mean something to you. But eventually, the one that comes with the Travato, unless you replace it, it's going to start rusting, and it's not going to look like it belongs on a vehicle that costs that much money.
The Revel also has less badging.
This thing has a much better towing capacity, and the hitch is stronger.
And one of the real big pluses for me is that the van is shorter and it's easier to park.
Having Apple CarPlay and the stereo system and the user experience up front on the dash, it's so much better than that old thing that was in the Travato. Now, the newer Travatos are getting better and better, but this is awesome up here.
We also believe that the Mercedes is a lot safer on the road due to the safety features.
Yeah. If you remember back on one of our trips right before we went on the Natchez Trace, We were almost in a head-on accident on Interstate 10. It was on that day that I knew eventually we would get something that had collision avoidance and had safety features like we have in our other vehicle.
It's all lithium and there's no propane on board.
The next one's kind of an oxymoron. We said we didn't like the bathroom as well as we did in the Travato, but we actually like the shower a lot more.
The next thing that's a very big positive for the Revel is the garage. We love having all this space back here. We're not really exactly sure how we're going to use it yet. We're going to go on a couple of trips and just kind of see how it works.
Right. The other thing about this big garage, we can lift this up, gives us this lounge area, but it also lets us put our bikes back here if we want to make short trips. There are a lot of things we can do here, and it's a big plus.
We're kind of up in the air whether the bed will be better in the Revel or not, but it is a whole lot better for snuggling.
It's easier to get to all the low point drains.
The refrigerator in the Revel is a lot easier to load things into, but it is smaller than the Travato.
The next thing is really small for a lot of people, but what I learned in our Travato, if the awning lights were on and the awning was in, you couldn't see them. So you couldn't use the light when you just didn't want the awning to be out. But then a lot of times Maggie would bump the button and the awning lights would be on and we'd be burning up the battery and we couldn't even see it. This one you can leave the awning in and turn the lights on and use it as illumination outside, and it's really cool. And I haven't even told Lynn this yet, but with the app that comes with it, you can even dim the lights so they're less bright or brighten them up all the way.
Yeah, awesome.
And speaking of apps, one of the good things about the Revel that's better than the Travato, and I know the Travato is getting better, but the version we have apps for just about everything that we really want to see here. We have an app that'll tell us how the batteries are doing. We have an app that controls the air conditioner, and we can even control the awning, the lights, bring it in and out, and set a lot of the features of the awning with an app that's connected to that. For a guy that uses a phone for just about everything, that's really cool.
Another good thing is there are lights and locks on the running board.
That's really cool if you have a real big expensive cooler. If you want to lock the bikes when we're out there and we want to leave them, we can leave it under the awning and lock them to the running board. It's going to come in handy, and it's a really neat feature. So the last thing on this list that we've created so far, and that's pretty important, this is so far. We've spent 3 nights in our van, so we don't know it very well. We just know what we think right now. And if you're thinking about getting one, this is probably pretty close to how you're going to feel as well. But that bench seat is sitting up there is a real big advantage. We've used it many times to eat lunches and dinners and to go out for takeout and then stop and eat. It also provides a place that we can put our grandchildren and put them in seat belts and feel like they're safer. It's probably the most comfortable seat in the entire van. And it is one of the best things about this, and it's maybe one of the reasons we got the Revel was that seat.
Yeah, definitely being able to take our grandkids, and we're using this van more as a daily driver just because it has a bathroom, especially during COVID.
There are a lot of reasons we bought this Revel, and we just listed a few of the things that we think are better than what we just sold, but I'm sure we'll find other things that we like better, and we'll probably find things that we don't like as much as the Travato, but we'll keep everybody updated as we go. We really appreciate you guys being part of our journey. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, take a moment and do that, and leave us a comment and let us know what you think of the Revel. Until next week, happy tales. Okay, there's a first for everything, and today is the first day we're going to empty the Cassette toilet in the Revel. Let's see if this is easier or harder than what we've been doing with other RVs.
But you have to do 2 different things instead of just one. So
We do. Yeah, we've got to, usually I connect one hose through the black tank and then pull the plug for the gray tank, and that washes out the black tank hose. And Bob's your uncle, it's pretty easy. This one we got to do this. Don't step on a turd.
heavy.
No. It's a crappy job though, I gotta tell you.
That's just gross.
So as Lynn says, Nobody wants to see us pouring our crap down a hole, no matter how easy it is. It wasn't that hard to do. It would be a lot easier if you didn't have to have one foot close to the sloshing that goes along. Finish doing it, push it back in. The right way. And it's in. Take the gloves off. Put that there.
What's your thoughts about the dumping?
You kind of always know when you're emptying, like the Travato, you know you're emptying your black water waste, the poop, but you never really have to see it because you know the hose goes in, you pull the plug, you don't see it. I don't know that there's a way not to see it there. It's all liquid and it's okay. I don't mind it. I didn't throw up. I guess that's a good thing, and it's a lot easier from the perspective of just doing that. But I could also go into the men's bathroom and do that and moan and groan and make a lot of noise.
I just don't know, how would you pour that much in a toilet without flushing it?
I think it flushes automatically when it fills up. Have you never filled one up before?
I've never filled one up before, I don't think.
Let's go back to our campsite.
Okay.